December 20th, 1943, 12:47 p.m. 11,000 feet above Bremen, Germany. The B-17 is dying. Second Lieutenant Charlie Brown can feel it in the controls, the sluggish response, the way the yoke fights him like something already half dead. Through the shattered cockpit glass, freezing air screams past at 180 miles per hour, turning his breath into ice crystals. Blood from his forehead has frozen to his oxygen mask. He can't feel his fingers anymore. Behind him, the fuselage of Olde Pub looks like something chewed up and spat out by a giant. Flak holes perforate the aluminum skin, hundreds of them, some small as fists, others wide enough to shove your head through. The tail section is so riddled with shrapnel, it's a miracle it's still attached. Hydraulic fluid streams from ruptured lines, painting dark trails across the wing. Number 2 engine is dead, feathered propeller spinning uselessly in the slipstream. Number 4 is running rough, coughing black smoke, threatening to quit at any moment. The intercom is chaos. Voices overlapping, some screaming, some eerily calm. Tail gunners hit. Eckies hit bad. We're losing altitude. Can't get pressure in the turret. The hydraulics are gone. Brown forces his voice steady. Everybody stay on oxygen. We're going home. Going home. As if that's still possible. As if a bomber this damaged, this slow, this low over the most heavily defended airspace in Europe has any chance of making it back to England. Through the broken nose section, he can see the rest of the formation, or what's left of it. Contrails stretching east toward safety. The other B-17s pulling away, their engines healthy, their crews alive. Nobody's slowing down, nobody's waiting. In the bomber war, you keep formation or you die alone. Olde Pub is alone. The bombardier's position is gone. Just gone. Plexiglass and metal torn away by a direct flak hit over the target. The navigator, Second Lieutenant Al Sadak, huddles in the remains of the compartment, wrapped in every piece of fabric he can find, trying not to freeze to death in the -40 wind. In the radio room, Staff Sergeant Hugh Eckenrode lies in a spreading pool of blood. The radio operator and another crewman work frantically to stop the bleeding from a shrapnel wound that has torn through his shoulder. His face is the color of old paper. The ball turret gunner, Sam Blackford, is trapped. The hydraulics that rotate and operate his position are dead. He's stuck in a glass bubble underneath a crippled bomber, staring down at Germany, praying the landing gear holds because if it doesn't, he'll be crushed when they touch down. If they touch down. Brown's co-pilot, Second Lieutenant Spencer Pinky Luke, grips his own yoke with white knuckles. His voice crackles over the intercom. "Charlie, we're at 11,000 and dropping. I don't think we can hold altitude. We hold what we can. The fighters, I know." The FW-190s and BF-109s are still out there, circling, waiting. Brown has seen this before, predators hanging back, letting a crippled bomber exhaust itself, waiting for the moment it can no longer maneuver. Then they come in from the sun and finish it with a single pass. He scans the sky. Clear for now, empty. But that won't last. 10,000 feet. The altimeter unwinds steadily. They're descending whether he wants to or not. The 2 remaining engines are screaming, maxed out, barely keeping them airborne. A shadow flickers across the cockpit. Brown's head snaps left. There, 500 yards out, closing fast. A Messerschmitt BF-109. Camouflage paint. Yellow nose. Black crosses on the wings. His stomach goes cold. "Fighters!" someone yells over the intercom. But the guns don't open fire. Half of them are jammed. The others have no ammunition left. The waist gunners are wounded or dead. The tail gunner can barely move. They are defenseless. The BF-109 pulls alongside. Close. Impossibly close. Near enough that Brown can see the pilot's leather helmet, the oxygen mask, the gloved hand on the stick. The German pilot doesn't fire. He just flies there. Parallel. Watching. Brown stares back, his mind racing. Why isn't he shooting? Is the gun jammed? Is he lining up for a better angle? The 109 drops back slightly, moves to the tail section, examines the damage, then returns to the wing position, still not firing. For a moment, a single, surreal moment, the 2 pilots make eye contact across 200 feet of freezing sky. The German is young, maybe 30. Face partially hidden by the mask, but his eyes are visible, sharp, calculating, and something else Brown can't quite identify. Not hatred, not bloodlust, something closer to disbelief? The 109 rocks its wings once, a signal, then accelerates away, climbing back toward altitude, disappearing into the winter haze. Brown doesn't move, doesn't breathe. His crew is silent on the intercom. "What the hell just happened?" Pinky finally whispers. Brown has no answer, because a German fighter just looked at a crippled, defenseless American bomber, a bomber that represents everything the Luftwaffe has been ordered to destroy, and chose not to kill it, chose to let it go. And now, ye Olde Pub, bleeding fuel and hydraulic fluid, missing half her guns and most of her skin, has to fly 250 miles across enemy territory with 2 dying engines and a crew held together by adrenaline and prayer. The North Sea lies ahead, then England, then safety. If they can make it that far, if the German doesn't change his mind, if the engines don't quit, if. 12 minutes earlier, 12:35 p.m., 27,000 feet above Bremen. Oberleutnant Franz Stigler banks his Bf 109 G6 into a climbing turn, eyes scanning the sky for stragglers. The American bomber formation is breaking up. He can see the contrails scattering, some heading northwest toward England, others losing altitude, trailing smoke. The flak batteries have done their work. Now it's the fighter's turn to finish what the guns started. His radio crackles with voices. Other pilots calling out targets, claiming kills, coordinating attacks. The frequencies are crowded with excitement. This is what they train for, what they live for. Stigler is calm, always calm. 8 years flying fighters. Combat over Spain, Poland, France, North Africa, Russia. 280 missions. 28 confirmed kills. An ace several times over, though the number stopped mattering somewhere over the Eastern Front. He spots movement below, a B-17 separating from the formation, descending. Engines smoking. Damage visible even from this altitude. Easy prey. He rolls the 109 inverted, pulls the nose down, begins his dive. The airspeed builds quickly. 400 kilometers per hour. 500. The engine roar becomes a scream. His hand rests lightly on the stick, the other near the trigger. This is instinct now. Muscle memory. Approach from the rear quarter, avoid the tail guns, aim for the engines or the cockpit. Quick burst. Confirm the kill. Move to the next target. He levels out at 12,000 feet, 800 meters behind the B-17. Close enough to see the damage clearly now. The tail section is shredded, holes everywhere. The bomber is struggling, wallowing through the air like a wounded animal. Stigler's thumb moves to the cannon trigger. Then he sees the tail gun. It's not moving, not tracking him, not firing, just hanging there, lifeless. He frowns, pulls closer. 600 meters, 500, still no defensive fire. The waist guns, also silent. The ball turret below, not rotating. Something's wrong. He pulls alongside the bomber, far enough out to avoid collision, but close enough to see detail. And what he sees makes his breath catch. The fuselage isn't just damaged, it's destroyed. Massive holes torn through the aluminum skin, entire sections missing. Through one of the larger gaps, he can see inside, men moving, wounded, trying to help each other. Blood on the interior walls catching the light. The nose is gone, completely sheared away. The plexiglass bombardier station is just open air now. He can see the navigator crouched in the wreckage, wrapped in cloth, face white with cold. The tail gunner is slumped in his position, not moving, dead or unconscious. Stigler moves the 109 forward, parallel to the cockpit. He can see the pilots now, both young. The one on the left, the aircraft commander, has blood on his face. His eyes are locked forward, concentration absolute, fighting the controls. You can almost feel the desperation radiating from that cockpit. Stigler's hand hovers over the trigger. One burst. 2 seconds of firing. That's all it would take. The B-17 can't maneuver, can't defend itself, can't escape. It would be like shooting a man already on his knees. His instructor's voice echoes in his memory, not from Luftwaffe training, but from before. From 1940, when he was a young pilot in North Africa, when Gustav Rodel, his mentor, his friend, pulled him aside after a mission. Franz, if you ever see a pilot in a parachute, don't shoot. If you see a man in a lifeboat, don't strafe. Honor is the only thing we take home from this war. Everything else stays in the sky. Stigler stares at the crippled bomber. This isn't a military target anymore. It's a coffin with wings. The crew is already defeated, already dying. Finishing them would be, what? Murder? Execution? He thinks about his brother, August, shot down over England in 1940, died in the crash, 23 years old. He thinks about the men in that bomber, somebody's brothers, somebody's sons. His thumb lifts off the trigger, but he doesn't pull away. Instead, something insane occurs to him. Something so contrary to orders, to duty, to everything he's supposed to do, that for a moment he thinks he's suffering from oxygen deprivation. He could help them. The thought is absurd. He's a Luftwaffe fighter pilot. They're the enemy. His job is to kill them, not escort them. If anyone sees this, if any other German pilot reports it, it's a court-martial, possibly execution. But he's already positioning the 109 on their wing, already matching their painfully slow airspeed, already scanning the sky for threats. Because something inside him, something deeper than training, deeper than orders, has decided. Not today, not these men. He glances at the American pilot again. The young lieutenant is staring at him now, eyes wide with confusion and fear, waiting for the kill shot, waiting to die. Stigler raises his hand, points forward, toward the North Sea, toward England, toward home. The American doesn't understand, just stares. Stigler points again, more emphatically. Go, fly. I won't shoot. For a long moment, nothing happens. The two aircraft fly side by side, enemies separated by 200 feet of sky and every reason to hate each other. Then, slowly, the American pilot nods, just once, a tiny movement of acknowledgement. Stigler settles into formation on the bomber's wing. His mind is racing now, calculating. They're still over Germany, still in range of flak batteries. Other fighters will be hunting. If he's going to do this, if he's really going to escort an enemy bomber to safety, he needs to make them look like they're together, make it seem intentional. He moves closer, tightens the formation. From a distance, it might look like a captured aircraft being escorted to an airfield. It might buy them time. It might get them killed. But Franz Stigler, Oberleutnant in the Luftwaffe, ace pilot, veteran of 8 years of war, has made his choice. He will shepherd this broken bomber and its dying crew across hostile territory. He will protect them from his own countrymen. He will commit treason in the name of something he can barely articulate. Honor, maybe. Humanity, perhaps. Or simply the knowledge that some days the war asks too much, and a man has to draw a line somewhere, even if that line is drawn in the sky at 10,000 feet with frozen fingers and a hammering heart. He checks his fuel gauge, enough to reach the coast. Maybe. He checks the sky. Clear. For now. He looks at the bomber one more time, at the holes, at the blood, at the men fighting to stay alive, and he flies. 12:52 p.m., 9,800 feet, somewhere over northwest Germany. Charlie Brown can't take his eyes off the Bf-109 flying 300 feet off his left wing. The German is holding position like they're in parade formation, not attacking, not circling, just there. A predator that has decided not to kill. Brown's mind can't process it. Nothing in his training covered this. Nothing in the briefings mentioned the possibility of a Luftwaffe pilot choosing mercy over a confirmed kill. Charlie, Pinky's voice is tight. What do we do? We keep flying. Is he helping us? Brown doesn't answer because he doesn't know. Maybe it's a trick. Maybe the German is herding them toward a flak battery. Maybe he's waiting for other fighters to arrive so they can all watch the crippled bomber fall. But the 109 stays there, steady, almost protective. The intercom crackles with the voice of the top turret gunner, Staff Sergeant Alex Yelisanko. I've got a bead on him. Say the word, Lieutenant. I can take the shot. Brown's hand hovers over the transmit button. One word, one order. Yelisanko still has ammunition. The top turret still works. From this range, he might actually hit. But if he fires and misses, if he fires and hits, either way, the moment of strange grace evaporates. Either way, they're back to being enemies. And ye Olde Pub is too damaged to survive a dogfight. "Hold fire," Brown says quietly. "Nobody shoots unless he shoots first." Silence on the intercom. The crew processing this insanity. They fly on. Below them, the German countryside slides past. Fields and forests and small towns, all covered in a thin blanket of December snow. Somewhere down there, civilians are going about their day. Somewhere down there, soldiers are preparing for the next raid. The war continues, indifferent to the strange ballet happening at 9,000 feet. The altimeter continues its slow, inevitable descent. 9,600 feet, 9,400 feet. Number 4, engine coughs, sputters. Brown's heart stops. If they lose another engine, they're done. The bomber will drop like a stone. But the engine catches again, keeps running. Rough, angry, but running. Franz Stigler watches the American bomber struggle and feels his fuel gauge dropping toward empty. He's been flying combat power for too long. The 109's fuel consumption at this altitude, at this speed, is brutal. He has maybe 20 minutes before he has to turn back or risk running dry over enemy territory. 20 minutes to get them to the coast, if they make it that far. He sees the engine sputter, sees the bomber wobble, and instinctively tightens the formation, as if flying closer will somehow keep them airborne. Movement catches his eye, above, 2 o'clock high. Contrails, 2 of them. His blood goes cold. FW-190s, probably from his own Jagdgeschwader, hunting stragglers. They haven't seen him yet, or if they haven't recognized the situation. From altitude, it might just look like another fighter pursuing another kill. But if they descend for a closer look, if they open fire, Stigler makes a decision. He slides the 109 directly above the B-17, positioning himself between the bomber and the fighters. If the 190s approach, they'll see him first. They'll see one of their own. It might make them hesitate, might make them think the kill is already claimed. It might buy seconds. The contrails continue east, chasing the main formation. The fighters don't turn, don't descend. Stigler exhales slowly, repositions back on the bomber's wing. In the B-17's cockpit, Brown saw the German move, saw him place himself between them and the other fighters. There's no mistaking it now, no ambiguity. The Luftwaffe pilot is protecting them. "Jesus Christ," Pinky whispers. "He's running interference." Brown's throat is tight. He wants to say something, wants to acknowledge this impossible act. But there's no radio frequency for this, no common language for what's happening, so he just flies. And the German flies with him. Minutes pass like hours. The landscape below begins to change. Fewer towns, more open ground. They're approaching the coast. The North Sea is out there somewhere, beyond the haze, 8,100 feet, still descending, but slower now. Brown has trimmed the aircraft perfectly, found the exact balance point where the 2 remaining engines can almost hold altitude. Behind him, in the radio room, the crew has managed to stop Eckenrode's bleeding. He's unconscious, but alive. In the waist, another gunner nurses a shrapnel wound to his leg, teeth gritted against the pain. The ball turret gunner is still trapped, still praying. They're all still alive, and they're getting closer. Stigler's fuel gauge reads nearly empty now. The reserve light is on. He has minutes left, maybe 10, maybe 5. He can see the coastline ahead, a gray line where land meets water. Beyond that, the North Sea. Beyond that, England and safety for the Americans. His mission is almost complete. This insane, treasonous, inexplicable mission. But first, they have to get past the coastal flak batteries. The German anti-aircraft guns are concentrated along the shore, positioned to shred any Allied aircraft trying to escape back to England. They don't ask questions. They don't check whether a bomber has a German escort. They see a B-17, they shoot. Stigler moves the 109 even closer now, tucked in tight to the bomber's wing, close enough that anyone on the ground will see them together, will see the formation and, hopefully, hesitate. Brown sees the German tighten up and understands immediately. They're about to fly over the most dangerous part of the journey, and the Bf-109 is trying to shield them with his life. You can almost feel the tension in both cockpits. Two pilots, enemies by nation and duty, flying together toward a coastline bristling with guns that want to kill one of them and might kill both. The coast rushes closer. Brown can see the gun emplacements now, dark shapes against the snow, barrels tracking skyward. He holds his breath. They cross the beach at 7,800 feet. The guns don't fire. Maybe they're confused. Maybe they see the 109 and assume it's a forced landing situation. Maybe they simply don't have time to react. Or maybe, just maybe, some German anti-aircraft crew sees what's happening and chooses not to pull the trigger. Another small act of mercy in a war full of horror. The coastline falls behind. The gray water of the North Sea spreads out below them, cold and infinite. They're out of Germany. Stigler knows he has to turn back now. His fuel is critically low. If he goes any further, he won't make it home. He'll ditch in the sea or crash on a beach somewhere. He pulls away slowly, opening the distance. Brown watches him go, watches the yellow-nosed 109 slide away to the south. Before he turns, the German does something unexpected. He salutes. A crisp, formal salute held for a long moment against the clear winter sky. Brown, hands still locked on the yoke, can't return it. Can't move. Can't do anything but watch as the fighter banks away, dropping lower, heading back toward the coast at minimum fuel consumption speed. The 109 disappears into the haze. Ye Olde Pub flies on alone, two dying engines carrying 10 men toward England. And Charlie Brown realizes he's crying. Not from fear, not from relief, from something else, something he doesn't have words for. Because for 20 minutes, the war stopped. For 20 minutes, humanity overruled hatred. For 20 minutes, an enemy became a guardian angel. And he will carry that moment for the rest of his life. 1:47 p.m. RAF Seething, Norfolk, England. The control tower sees it first, a dark speck on the horizon, flying low, barely holding altitude. Aircraft inbound, the duty officer calls out. Bearing 270, approximately 5 miles out. Binoculars come up. The speck resolves into a shape. A B-17. But something's wrong with it. It's too slow, too low, trailing smoke. Clear the field, someone orders. Crash crews to stand by. Fire trucks roar to life. Ambulances move into position. Ground crews scramble out of the way. This is the part of the job everyone dreads. Watching a crippled bomber try to land, knowing that sometimes they don't make it, that sometimes they cartwheel across the runway or explode on impact. Inside Ye Olde Pub, Charlie Brown is fighting the worst battle of the day. The hydraulics are completely gone now. He has no brakes, no flaps. The landing gear won't extend, or if it does extend, he has no way to confirm it. The two remaining engines are running on fumes and willpower, and he has to put this wreck on the ground without killing what's left of his crew. Gear down, he orders, pulling the manual release. Nothing happens. No familiar thunk of wheels locking. No indicator lights. Try the hand crank, Pinky says, already reaching for it. They crank, both of them, trading off, muscles burning. The manual gear extension system is designed as a backup, but on a bomber this damaged, nothing works the way it's supposed to. Finally, a shudder runs through the aircraft. One green light flickers on. 1, not 3. We've got nose gear, Pinky reports. Maybe, I think. Main gear? No lights. Could be down and locked. Could be up and stuck. Could be halfway and about to collapse when we touch down. Brown's hands are shaking on the yoke now, not from fear, from exhaustion, from cold, from the adrenaline crash that's been building for 2 hours. We're coming in, he says into the radio. Emergency landing, gear uncertain, hydraulics failed, engines critical. The tower's response is immediate and calm. Roger, Pub, runway is clear, wind is light, straight down the runway, you're cleared to land. As if this is routine. As if bombers land half destroyed every day. They do, Brown realizes. They absolutely do. The runway appears ahead, A gray strip carved into green English countryside. Home, safety, life, if they can reach it. Number 4 engine makes the decision for them. It seizes with a grinding shriek, propeller windmilling uselessly. They're down to 1 engine now. 1 engine on a 4-engine bomber. The B-17 drops like a brick. Brown shoves the throttle to maximum. The remaining right Cyclone screams in protest, giving everything it has. The descent slows, levels. They're at 500 feet, 400, 300. The runway rushes up to meet them. "Brace for impact," Brown yells into the intercom. He pulls back on the yoke, flaring, trying to bleed off speed without stalling. The airplane shudders. The stall warning horn blares. Everything is happening too fast and too slow simultaneously. The wheels, however many are actually down, hit the concrete. The impact is bone-jarring, metal screams. Something in the tail section tears loose with a bang that sounds like a cannon shot. The bomber bounces, slams down again, starts to slew sideways. Brown stands on the rudder pedals, fighting to keep it straight. No brakes, no nose wheel steering, just the rudder and momentum and prayer. They careen down the runway, trailing sparks and debris. 100 knots, 80 knots, 60. Finally, mercifully, the bomber grinds to a stop 200 yards from the end of the runway, tilted at an angle, nose gear collapsed, one wing touching the ground. Silence. Then the intercom explodes with voices. "We're down. Holy Christ, we're down. Get Eki out. Get him out now. Somebody get me out of this goddamn ball turret." Brown sits frozen for a moment, hands still locked on the yoke, unable to process that they're actually on the ground, actually alive. Pinky hits his shoulder. Charlie, we gotta move. We gotta get everyone out." Right. Move. Out. Brown unbuckles with numb fingers, pulls off his oxygen mask, and climbs out of the seat. His legs nearly collapse under him. He stumbles through the cockpit, back into the fuselage. The crew is already moving, helping each other, carrying Eckenrode toward the waist door. Someone's cranking the ball turret manually, freeing Blackford, who emerges pale and shaking but alive. Outside, fire trucks and ambulances converge. Medics pile in through every opening, taking charge of the wounded. Ground crews stare in disbelief at the damage. One crew chief walks the length of the fuselage, counting holes. He gives up at 200. Brown climbs down onto the tarmac, legs wobbling, and just stands there, staring at his airplane, at what's left of it. Ye Olde Pub looks like it flew through a sawmill. The tail is barely attached. The nose is gone. Holes riddle every surface. Hydraulic fluid and oil pool beneath the wings. The tires are shredded. One propeller blade is bent backward. It should not have flown, should not have made it across the North Sea, should not have landed, but it did. A jeep pulls up. An intelligence officer climbs out, clipboard in hand. "Lieutenant Brown, I need to debrief you." Brown nods numbly. "Start from the beginning. What happened up there?" Where does he even start? The flak? The fighters? The damage? The impossible journey home? The German pilot who saved them? Brown's mouth opens, closes, opens again. There was a 109, he says slowly. A Messerschmitt. He could have shot us down. We were defenseless, but he didn't. He escorted us to the coast, protected us. The intelligence officer's pen stops moving. "Say that again?" "A German pilot escorted us out of Germany. He saved our lives." The officer stares at him. "Lieutenant, are you sure? You took a head wound. Maybe—" "I'm sure." Brown's voice is firm now. "My whole crew saw it. He flew formation with us for 20 minutes. He kept other fighters away. He got us past the flak batteries. Then he saluted and turned back." The officer writes slowly, clearly skeptical. "Did you get a look at the aircraft? Any markings?" Brown closes his eyes, sees it again. The yellow nose, the black crosses, the pilot's face behind the oxygen mask. "I'd recognize him," Brown says quietly. "If I ever see him again, I'd recognize him." But he knows he never will. The war is still on. Men are still dying. And somewhere over Germany, A Luftwaffe pilot is probably filing his own report, probably lying about what he did, probably erasing the evidence of his mercy. They'll never meet again. That's what Brown believes, standing on the frozen tarmac in England, watching medics carry his wounded crew to ambulances. He's wrong, but he won't know that for 46 years. January 18, 1990, Vancouver, Canada. Charlie Brown, now 70 years old, sits at his dining room table with a telephone in one hand and a letter in the other. His hands are shaking. The letter is from Germany, from a former Luftwaffe pilot named Franz Stigler. Brown has spent 46 years searching for this man, 46 years wondering if he was real, if that moment over Germany actually happened, or if it was a trauma-induced hallucination created by a wounded mind at the edge of death. His crew confirmed it. All of them saw the 109. All of them watched the German escort them to safety. But after the war, when Brown tried to find records to track down the pilot, he hit walls. No name, no squadron, no way to identify one fighter pilot among thousands. So he carried the memory alone, told his children, told his wife, told anyone who would listen about the enemy who became a guardian angel. And now, this letter. It started with a newsletter, a veterans group publication. Brown, retired from the Air Force, wrote a short notice, seeking information on Luftwaffe pilot who spared damaged B-17 over Germany, December 20, 1943. Flew BF-109 with yellow nose, escorted us to North Sea. He never expected a response. But 4 months ago, in Germany, Franz Stigler, now 70, white-haired, living quietly in a suburb of Munich, opened that same newsletter and stopped breathing. He had never told anyone, not his squadron mates during the war, not his family after. The incident was buried so deep he sometimes wondered if he'd imagined it, if stress and exhaustion had created a false memory of mercy in a world that had none. But there it was, in print, an American pilot searching for him, describing that day, that bomber, that impossible decision. Stigler wrote back immediately. And now, after months of cautious correspondence, of comparing details and confirming memories, they're about to speak. Brown dials the number with trembling fingers. The international connection clicks and hums, then rings. Once, twice. Hello? The voice is accented but clear, strong. Franz? Brown's voice cracks. Franz Stigler? A pause, then softly. Charlie? Charlie Brown? Brown closes his eyes. Tears run down his face. It was you. It was really you. Ja. It was me. Stigler's voice is thick with emotion. I thought maybe you did not make it home. I wondered all these years. We made it, all of us, because of you. Silence on the line, not empty. Heavy with 46 years of unspoken gratitude, of survival, of two men who have carried the same moment through nearly half a century. Why? Brown finally asks. Why didn't you shoot? Stigler is quiet for a long moment. You were already dead, or should have been. Your bomber. Charlie, I have never seen an aircraft so damaged, still flying. I counted the holes. I saw your men bleeding inside. I saw you fighting the controls. His voice drops to a whisper. You were no longer warriors. You were just men trying to survive, and I could not be the one to kill you. You could have been court-martialed. Ja. You could have been shot. Ja. You risked your life. And you risked yours every day, flying those missions. We all risked everything. The only question was whether we would keep our humanity while doing it. Stigler pauses. I had a commander once, Gustav Rodel. He told me, if I ever see you shoot at a man in a parachute, I will shoot you down myself. He taught me that honor was not optional, that some things matter more than orders. Brown wipes his eyes with the back of his hand. His wife appears in the doorway, sees his face, understands something profound is happening. She quietly sits beside him, taking his free hand. I want to meet you, Brown says. I need to shake your hand. I need to thank you in person. I would like that very much. 6 months later, in a hotel in Seattle, two old men meet for the first time since December 20th, 1943. Franz Stigler stands in the lobby, 70 years old, still tall, still carrying himself with the posture of a pilot. He wears a simple suit. His eyes scan the room nervously. Charlie Brown enters from the elevator, shorter, grayer, but his eyes are the same, the eyes Stigler saw through a shattered cockpit windshield at 10,000 feet. They recognize each other instantly. For a moment, neither moves. They just stand there, two old warriors from opposite sides of the most terrible war in history, meeting across a hotel lobby carpet instead of across hostile skies. Then Brown crosses the distance and embraces Stigler. The German stiffens for a heartbeat, a lifetime of training against enemy contact. Then his arms come up and he returns the embrace fiercely. Neither speaks. They don't need to. Some things cannot be said with words. Over the next 2 days, they talk for hours. They compare notes, fill in gaps, reconstruct that day from both perspectives. Brown describes the terror of seeing the 109 appear. Stigler describes the shock of seeing a bomber so damaged, still airborne. They exchange photographs. Stigler has one, a small, grainy picture of himself beside his Bf-109 in 1943. Brown has one too, ye Olde Pub, after landing, riddled with holes, tilted on a collapsed nose gear. Stigler stares at the photo for a long time. "I cannot believe you landed this. I can't believe you didn't shoot us down." Stigler looks up. "Charlie, I want you to understand something. I did not save you because I was a good man. I saved you because shooting you would have made me a bad one. There is a difference." "You were a good man," Brown insists. "You are a good man. Don't diminish what you did. And you were a brave man, flying those missions knowing most crews did not survive." They sit in silence for a moment. Two men who should hate each other, who were trained to kill each other, who instead found something deeper than enmity in the frozen sky over Germany. "I have a question," Brown says finally. "When you turned back, when you saluted, what were you thinking?" Stigler smiles faintly. "I was thinking that war is stupid, that we are both someone's sons, that if we met in a different time, in a different place, we would probably be friends." He pauses. "And I was right. We are." They remain close for the rest of their lives. Brown and Stigler become inseparable, attending air shows together, giving joint interviews, speaking at schools about honor and humanity. They write a book together, telling their story. They vacation together, their families blending, old animosities evaporating in the warmth of improbable friendship. When Brown dies in 2008, Stigler attends the funeral. He stands at the graveside, an old Luftwaffe pilot at the funeral of an old B-17 pilot, and he weeps. 8 months later, Stigler dies. His family ensures he is buried near Brown. The two pilots, enemies for one day, brothers for 18 years, rest a few miles apart in the soil of a country neither was born in, but both came to love. Their story becomes legend, the bomber that wouldn't die and the fighter pilot who wouldn't kill. A moment of grace in the machinery of war, proof that even in humanity's darkest hours, humanity itself can prevail. Because on December 20th, 1943, two young men made choices that defied everything the war demanded of them. One chose to fly a dying bomber home, refusing to surrender or abandon his crew. The other chose mercy over duty, honor over orders, humanity over hate. And in doing so, they created something the war could never destroy. A friendship forged in the one place friendship should be impossible, at 10,000 feet, between enemies, in the frozen winter sky over Germany. End.